What's up, everybody? This is the Galactic Tribe podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Ace the Outsider, and I'm joined by my co host today, as always.
Coach V, what's going on, you guys? I'm happy to be here for a follow up on from the last pod. I got some new perspective on the topic, so I'm gonna let Ace bring it in.
Yeah. Like last time we talked about Mid Journey and the rise of AI art, and it seemed like after we had that conversation, like
It
AI.
exploded, it exploded.
Everybody's feed was littered with these creations that they made but didn't make, and some people have taken a really strong liking to it. A lot of other people, especially artists themselves, have hated it and
Mm.
thrown their tomatoes at this idea, and feel a little bit violated. So we're going to talk more about that, and get into that conversation and see where people's hearts are at. As always, the chat is open, and if you're watching this in later time, the comments are open. Feel free to drop down any ideas. If you're listening on Spotify or any other type of streaming platform, then
Mm.
you can't say nothing. But you can hit us up in our
Mm.
DM to see and we can see what you think, and leave some comments under the videos that we do
Mm.
have available on our Instagram at Wakanda Alliance. All right,
Mm.
but here we
Right.
Black Tribe conversation on AI art. So. Oh well, let's do a check in real quick. Oh, Lelouch, how you feeling, man? You last time we talked to you, you was in L.A. or
Yeah,
on your way there.
yeah. I was literally at the airport heading to LA for LA Comic Con. I made it out there Thursday night. After traveling what felt like all day.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. I got there for the one they're literally their fifth time of the year when it rained.
Mm-hmm.
I made it there for that. But even with that rain, it was still like 70 degrees outside at night. So it's just a different type of thing out there. I had a good time. Getting to see my brothers, Charlie and Ethan, for the first time in person. Then getting to see my bro
Yeah.
Stan and his wife is always great. Um, Charlie put out a nice little mini documentary for it. So be sure to check that out on the Then and Now podcast
Okay.
for our trip to LA. I'll send you the link. He did
All
a good
right.
job on it.
Nice.
Um, Great time. I'm happy that we made the trip. Got to make a longer trip in the future there, but yeah, I had a good time.
Sweet. All right. Yeah. Shout out to the Then and Now podcast and everybody a part of that project. Speaking of conventions, I was just invited to
Yeah,
a
tell him.
board to get onto an advisory council for VillaCon. So for those who don't know, there's a private school here in Buffalo called Villa Maria, and they're very much an art-centered school. One of the few schools that have game design and certain technology, engineering, a lot of fine arts programs there. So yeah, we did a last year. They had the VillaCon for the first time, and Wakanda Alliance was a part of the vendors. So it was cool to be there. Of course, really small. You know what I'm saying? It had a bit of a just that college feel to it more. And their college isn't like there's kids on dorms and like there's all these activities going on. They're a private college and they're a bit smaller, so they don't have the same resources or updates that a newer college was. But they just got an update to their cafeteria, to their commons basically. And when I take you into this cafeteria next time, just like whenever you got a day off, holla
Mm-hmm.
at me. We gonna go up there. The VP said I can pop up whenever I need to. I'm gonna give you a tour because
Okay.
they got couches, they got pool tables, they got just like huge TV displays now too. And they'll have their Switch plugged up, kids playing, Smash Brothers and everything. Um, so yeah, we're gonna feel right at home, whatever we do with them. But
Mm-hmm. Well,
uh, yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing it, man.
yeah. So VillaCon's gonna be March 25th, the day before your boy's birthday. So that's gonna be fun.
So
Um,
you know we got to do it up big for the birthday while we're there, of course. I mean,
oh yeah. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get. See, I was about to say something I can't say on this podcast.
yeah.
I need some cosplays,
We'll,
girls. Bring
we'll save it for Patreon. We'll save it for Patreon.
save it for Baychan. But yeah, I need some cosplay girls to give me a cake. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, man. But yeah, March 25th, save your calendars. You're gonna be in the Western New York area. It's only one day long, so don't expect a whole bunch of different things because again they're pretty young at this whole convention thing, but they did a really great job last time. There were various artists that had their vending tables. They had a cosplay contest. They had an all-day gaming tournament. I think the one tournament ran from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Um, yeah,
Wow. Okay.
different things, and then the Galactic Tribe were trying to do just like a day of panels, ranging from a variety of topics from Afrofuturism to AI technology, and we're gonna try to get some special guests for that as well. So stay tuned to everything Galactic Tribe and Villa Maria.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So
Can't wait for more.
yeah, man. Yeah, but let's get into the topic. Um, so yeah, it seems like AI kind of did like a sweep within the past few weeks. Again, people on both sides, some people in the middle. When I talked about it before, I was talking more about it from an artist perspective of people who are creating the AI art. But then, like now, there's an app where you can log in. Maybe you pay $3
Mhm.
and you get like 20 plus images of yourself drawn. Um, or sorry, I guess you are drawn, but just you're drawn in like a variety of ways. And some of the influences in the art are like those portraits that are like whimsical. Some of them have like fairy tale elements. Others have like a multitude of colors, gradients, different styles. So yeah, it's been interesting to see that. And like I haven't done it myself because I personally, I've always wanted to
I don't
have.
trust it.
Yeah, right, that part. But I respect artists, and I've always, I've commissioned a few artists to draw me. So like, I'd rather support them, and I'm not gonna hate on the general public because they want to see themselves
Right.
drawn differently. Like they want to see themselves animated or cartoonified or whatever. Like it's cool to see yourself do that, even if if a computer happens to be taking influences from other pieces of art. That's the exact thing that humans do anyway. Like we go online, we see what we like, and we might try to duplicate that style or come up with our own. And in this case, it seems like they're coming up with their own, but it's just the robot doing the work.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't feel too offended, but I do understand the sentiment of artists who want to get paid for their work, and now it seems like there's another shortcut that can get in the way of their
Hmm.
business.
All right. So I mean, on my stance on this is chaotic neutral as always. I mean, I see the good in it and I also see the bad in it. The good side is, I mean, it gives people access to something that they some people wouldn't even like be able to actually get on their own. Like
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, like the artists out there are very talented and they can make things like what these Lensa apps are doing, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But some of they're not cheap. You know,
Yeah,
having that money
yeah.
extra in today's economy right now
Mm-hmm.
is not necessarily the easiest thing. Being able to pay what is it, $4.99 for Lensa? I
Yeah,
mean,
compared to 150 plus
right, for one picture,
for
let
one.
alone the 20 that you're getting from lenses. So I mean, there's definitely a upside on that. The downside is the fact that they're feeding all these artists art into this machine
Yeah.
without any like kickback to the original artist. Like, you know, like if there was something set up inside, like, oh yeah, well, this is a line of art inspired by this artist, and they're getting a portion of the proceeds from that, that would be okay. But if you're just saying, oh yeah, we're just gonna feed this from Google in there, just keep feeding these Google images in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely kind of unfair in my opinion. But I mean, that's unfortunately that's capitalism. That's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
like I said, there's good and bad to it as well. I mean, there's more good to it too because I mean, an actual artist can take these and use that as concept art and then be able to make something else great on their own.
Hmm.
And also, I mean, the fact that the quality of those pictures is not exactly what you're going to get from an actual person that
Right.
is capable of making that. Like it's going to be small things that maybe the naked eye won't notice, but people notice.
Yeah, those apps are very limited. Like, man, I've
Hmm.
been seeing some people looking like Igor out here. Like, the eyes be off, one eye be a different color, or
I've
something
seen
like that.
6, 7 fingers on people. Like it's not
Yeah,
perfect. I mean, no machine is in its infancy. So I mean,
Right.
maybe it improves over time. Maybe they
Mm.
do reach out to these artists to help it, to teach it to be a little bit more efficient. Maybe there's a maybe better system that comes from it in the future. Uh, only time will tell exactly what comes of it. But again, it it's the new fun thing. I'm curious to see what type of content people make with it going forward. I mean, of course, we've seen a lot of portraits and stuff. We don't. I mean, maybe it can make memes or something. I don't know. Maybe it. Who knows exactly what happens with it going forward? But
Mm.
it it's definitely an immediate change to the landscape of getting art. Um,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
undeniable.
Yeah. I would implore artists to stay on their toes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know that it's hard to kind of try to race against the machine, rage against the machine, race
Hmm.
against the machine, to find ways to keep that money coming in. But I wouldn't say that faulting people or trying to guilt trip people is the proper way to go about it, because people try
Hmm.
to get guilted all the time and it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, we done seen turtles with straws
Yeah.
stuck up their noses, but that doesn't stop people from littering. You know, so there are
Yeah,
times
honestly,
to
I'm not
run.
to cut you off, Brody, but
Go ahead.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like guilting people is going to turn more people against your plight. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can mention it. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't talk about the fact that I mean they are stealing people's art. I mean, that should be spoken on. But
Hmm.
saying that people are wrong or bad for using this tool that gave them access to something that they could not get easily on their own.
Hmm.
I mean, I can never say that's ever a bad thing, giving access to something. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. And I still haven't seen a full body portrait of somebody. So it's like, yo, they're gonna
Right.
come to you at some point. If you do full body or you do certain things like with your art that the AI isn't doing, then that's your end right there. And if people weren't coming to you before, then they're probably not gonna come to you now. Like, maybe something's wrong with your marketing that's gonna affect that. Or, maybe this is gonna make them think, you know what, maybe I do want to see myself colored. Maybe I do want to see myself in a different way. Let me go to an actual artist and say, hey, can you do this? If you can't do this but better, can you do something totally different? So, this is it's just an artist thing. You got to find ways to adapt to your environment, the same way musicians have to adapt. Like, you didn't see drummers getting mad that people were doing drum kits. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well, you
Carrier
probably
pigeons.
did, but it was just before social media.
Yeah, right. Carrier pigeons aren't getting mad that people are using email. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like technology is always gonna change
Evolve.
stuff. And even myself as a photographer, like, it's a pain in the butt when I'm here with my couple $1,000 setup trying to take photos at a wedding and somebody with their iPhone tries to jump in front of me thinking they can get a better shot than
Mm.
me. And now I gotta politely move them out the way. Like, I've like at this point, I don't ask anymore. I just tap them on the shoulder and I'm just like, excuse me. Like, I need to
Mm.
get in here and do my job. So you just gotta kind of keep up with the times and be willing to adapt instead of trying to make it seem like, everybody should shed a tear for you because you're an artist.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, even like for artists, you can use this to make some nice content. Like, say if you're using
Yeah.
this, like, say, like, oh, I'm gonna make these 7 AI generated art things, and these are my concept art for my next couple of projects. Come tune in to me, make these live. Like, there's so many things you can do with it
Mhm.
if you want to, if you embrace it. But if you're trying to reject it, you're just gonna get left behind.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, there's a lot of details that these apps are missing. Like, there's just certain things about our features, especially as Black people, that the app seems to enhance, but doesn't enhance in the way that an artist would enhance. Like, there's not the same care that's taken with particular features, whether it's hair or fake lips, eyes, nose, those types of things. I feel like, I mean, it's a free app, so it's gonna take shortcuts. It's not gonna be what you're getting if you
Oh,
pay
it's
for it.
not free.
Yeah. Oh man, you're right. I mean, compared to what an actual portrait costs to make, it's
True.
darn near free. Um, but there's just a little bit more care that's taken when human artists are looking at somebody's face and wanting to bring out particular details about their features.
Mm.
So,
And but
yeah,
can we talk about the real possible dark side to this though? Like the real, like
yeah,
real dark, as
hmm
in like they're literally getting to your face so and finding ways to print it better and better. So if they ever wanted to go, full body snatcher,
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even
Yeah.
like people wouldn't even notice. People wouldn't
Yeah.
even notice.
Yeah. I mean,
And just
we're already kind of there. I mean, like, you ever had like scroll through your phone and now your phone is finding like people and grouping them like, hey, these are pictures of Kayla. These are the pictures of Felicia. Like
mm-hmm.
the phone was already kind of doing that. And it's been kind of used to make
Which is
it easier for
partially
you.
why I
But the
don't post pictures like that.
right, shout out to everybody whose profile picture is an avatar, not the actual picture. um, but then it's like, what they gonna do with your face? I mean, if you want to get into that dark side again, fam, again, if somebody makes a T80, T8000 with my face, I mean, I can't. I'm screening everybody now. Like, I'm like, yo, when was
It's
my
like
last birthday? How did we do? What's my favorite flavor on chicken? Like, you gotta get some questions right, or I'm knocking you out. I'm just gonna hold an EMP up to your face, let that drain off, and see what happens.
just start setting off regular EMPs, just start having parties in areas where you just don't need electricity. It's
Oh
okay.
man. Yeah, no, that's insane. But I mean, listen, if somebody could scan the face, 3D print it, wear a mask, and then go out and commit crimes. I mean, people have been doing that to black folks for a long time. I mean, people going around in
Yes, they
blackface. It's
have.
a thing. It's definitely a thing. And there's always gonna be that threat, which is why, what I was saying last time about how um technology can reflect the racism that's in a particular society, especially when the people who are committing the atrocious acts are have more resources to align themselves with it, whether it is computer technology or maybe not even that watchful eye that's over them to say, "Yo, listen, what are you doing? Like that's crazy." Yeah, and then the capital side of it, people having access to money, they can do what they want with that money. If it's been in their family for generations, yeah, you're definitely gonna look at somebody like they don't belong because you got money in your family for generations. You look at the other people like they're doing something wrong. Um, so there are definitely like ugly sides to it, and as we go through this next phase of technology, we'll be hearing more from it because the art is just the beginning of it. This might not even be my voice for those who are listening to this podcast. They might have sampled my voice through an AI machine and print.
ATO might be a Cylon right now. We never know.
Right, a Cylon, a Klingon, what's the scrolls? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
the scroll. Secret
And,
Invasion is coming out. Just so you know.
I'm saying though, man, it's already a secret invasion out here. But yeah, once people like, even with that the robot, the rapping robot that they had a
Oh,
few weeks ago, the next step of that is voice mimicking and even mimicking cadences and even
but
like
honestly,
subject
like
matter.
that already to a degree exists because I mean there are holograms of like people, famous rappers and singers that do concerts. Like there's a Tupac hologram doing concerts in Vegas today.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Insane. Like he's on the stage. So yeah, y'all just be careful with signing away the rights to your image and your likeness because there's definitely ways that people can twist them. But again, we're gonna try to do our best to utilize it in a good way. Like the image behind Lelouch, like that's awesome right there. I would love to see if kids can. I think what we can start to do is like have the kids describe that piece, like
Mm-hmm.
work back where it's like, hey, if you were to tell a machine what this image is, what are the prompts you would give it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that kind of gets into storytelling, it gets into world building a little bit, um, and yeah, and then feed it back into a different AI. Everybody do something. Everybody put the same prompt in and see what you get.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a bunch of exercises that we can use.
Mm-hmm.
That helps people, helps especially young kids pay attention to detail, to be able to observe what's in front of them. So when they go see a movie or they go read a book or a poster or whatnot, they're not just looking at what attracts their eye. They're looking for things to attract them more to the piece and understand like why the artist put those things in there. Um, Again, like a lot of these lens joints have been simple and they have been good on the face, but in the background there's not really much going on. And
Mm-hmm.
when the artist is making those things, they're putting those things in there because just that they have particular interests, they have particular moods, they have particular things that they like to create, that they would draw in there. So like Lelouch's background, there's huts back there, there's banners with with red markings on them. There's particular statues. There's what seem to be like African huts, but there's also like glowing lanterns wrapped around them. So yeah, those types of things are definitely interesting. Like whatever that image is, I'm pretty sure somebody drew that, but
I mean,
I
you
don't see
sent it
it.
to me.
Yeah.
You
I know.
sent
That's
me
what I'm
this.
trying to remember. Like, where did I get it from? But it was definitely
Mm,
like a year or two ago that I found that image. So
mm.
yeah, fam. But you said speaking of me, I mean, speaking now that we're here, we're talking about huts, and that was bad.
We'll work on the segues. We'll
Yeah.
work on the segues.
Oh man, let's talk about some Africans now. Like, damn, that's bad. um, so
Yeah.
the
I'll bring up the. I got it up
no,
on
leave it on
screen.
there. It's hilarious. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and cue up the art piece. But um, in our Black Panther news for this week, an image came out a little bit after Thanksgiving, maybe a little bit before, of some concept art featuring um the first Black Panther, Bashenga. And this concept art kind of fooled us a bit, or at least fooled people who don't pay attention to detail and don't read the captions when they see a post. Somebody made it as if Marvel Studios was doing a Bashenga series. And it's got the logo and the part at the
Yeah,
bottom
this looks
coming soon
official.
Disney
This
Plus. Like they
looks
really,
official.
yeah, they
Like,
really tried it. I'm like, yeah, no, they not. And I mean, I knew off rip that it was more than likely going to be, something that's fan made. But the idea is dope because it's what we've been saying with the whole Wakandaverse idea is that people should take their fanhood into their own hands and start to create the content they want to see from Black Panther. As much wonderful staff that are part of the whole Black Panther project, there's still like a void when it comes to telling the stories of Wakanda. Like we don't have a video game out on just Wakanda. We don't have a television series out on just Wakanda, an animated series out on just on Wakanda. We had the one in what was that 2009, 2010 that came out, but we haven't had anything since. Like anytime Black Panther's in a Marvel project, it's alongside the Avengers. And I was watching a video that just talked about Wakanda's agency. So if Wakanda is featured, they're usually their path is being driven by what's happening around them or to them, not entirely what they're doing.
right.
So what a good point was the person brought up. It was like one of those YouTube video essays. He just talks about how like in the series or the MCU, Wakanda's problems are a direct result of what Wakandans were doing. So like they have the ownership of both their strengths and their weaknesses. So and then, this is a whole world to explore with as many characters as there are with Black Panther. So this idea of Bashenga, the first Black Panther, it seems pretty fun. There's a couple things as a fan I'm like, I wouldn't do, but it's nice to see. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how much the artist, Sean Harrison, not sure how big of a fan of Black Panther they are. Maybe they just saw the movie. Maybe they just flipped through a couple of comics. Maybe they just looked up some Wikipedia stuff and said, okay, I'm gonna do that. But the art that the artist made was made using Midjourney, Photoshop, and After Effects.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to bring it back up real quick?
Yeah, I can bring it back up.
Cool.
Yeah. Wow, that was me. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, there's a couple in there. I'm like, oh, word, all right. And I did a review of this, so I'm gonna post that soon too. But yeah, so the first image we see here is a Fastos, and this is how like immediately I knew because I was like, there is no way they're doing that because
Right.
Marvel, like a lot of fans will shut that down immediately.
Yeah, him having
um,
any involvement in the regular stuff is that it goes directly against the concept that they were pushing with the Eternals. So I mean, of course,
exactly. Well,
that's not
that and then like the concept with Wakandans, how they've been pretty much the masters of using vibranium for them to introduce this alien character who, while black, isn't a human character, isn't a character of African descent. So for them to have an alien coming in telling them how to use vibranium or, even playing with himself and inserting himself into, the Wakandan mythos, it's a bit of, again, taking away a bit of that agency and kind of doing the same thing people have done in the past where they'll say like Egyptian pyramids and South American pyramids were built by aliens or Atlantis. There's no way
right.
that these savages could create their own technological marvels. So, but I kind of see where they were going with that. But it is what it is.
On to the next one.
Yeah.
John
So
Boyega.
this was another one where I'm like, I really don't see. I don't see even Disney pulling this move as far as a casting choice. I mean, I love John Boyega. I love the roles that he's in. We saw him play a king in The Woman King, which is maybe why the artist went with John Boyega for this piece. But yeah, no, it looks cool. I like the neck joint. His neck seems a little bit
long.
Yeah, long, and the brace around his neck is off.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was cool to see. I'm not mad at it. Yeah, there's another way I knew Disney wasn't doing this right. Wasn't doing this one because he spelled Bast B-A-S
instead of Bast.
Yeah. And I'm like, maybe it was an error. It might have been a typo. Maybe he was thinking bask in the rays of the Egyptian sun or something like that. But yeah, no. And this one, I think Doechi is a musician. I want to say she might be like an Afrobeats musician. But I did want to see Bast in Black Panther because of her relationship with the Wakandans, especially with Shuri taking the reins. I thought Bast would show up to be like a moral compass for Shuri, which, spoiler alert, she wasn't. So, yeah. Were those the only images that were part of that Twitter post?
Yeah, that was only 4.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, if you click on Sean's profile, you might be able to find more.
Let's see. I trust more. Showing up now. I didn't realize it was this much. Like, man, he really.
Yeah. And I wonder how long this all took. Using that AI, man, stuff is all right. So, Mtawa, I don't know who Mtawa is. I don't know if that's an original character or something that person made.
I have no idea.
Cool. Yeah. I really like this lock. The Lockhawk is fire. I like how the locks are like fashioned into a mohawk.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I noticed is that a lot of people, and myself included, thought these Wakandans had a bit too much armor, and it seemed to be like the armor seemed really heavy for that time period, even with the marvels of vibranium and the Wakandan perspective of vibranium and how they're supposed to use it. Not to say they would make an all vibranium uniform, but just like just the armor sets felt a bit too heavy for what we've seen in Marvel mythos so far.
Bless you.
Thank you. And then we got this person doing something. I don't know what it is. It looks like
I think that's Basque again.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like something's happening, but we don't know exactly what.
Yeah.
So it feels a bit misplaced.
She's basking in her excellence. I don't know. Who knows? Does it also look like more Basque?
Yeah, it was just some people jumping up in the background. Not sure what's going on there, but listen, I mean, again, a lot of people were fooled because they were like, "Oh, this is happening. This is about to go down." And this was a good fool. This was a good tease because I think it opened up a lot of general fans and even some like long time fans to be able to visualize like, yo, this is possible. This is kind of more or less what it would look like if we had a Bashenga series, and we definitely deserve one.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing all of these, I mean, I would have, at the very least, I would watch it. I would sure watch this. Hint, Disney. You might owe this man a little bit of cash for the concept.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we got to press them, man, because again, there isn't enough of this thing going on. It seems like whenever we have Black characters, they're always in the realm of what other non-Black counterparts are doing, whether it's Falcon or Luke Cage or whatnot. It seems
even
to always
Spectrum. She's only been within WandaVision and now the Marvels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, And then Black Love too. You know, I think there's another image that was in there that wasn't part of what you just displayed, but in another post, it was simply just two black couple, black male and female couple, just kind of hugging and just showing an emotional moment. And we don't get to see enough Black love in Marvel Cinematic or Marvel television. Whatever. We don't see enough of it. We just always see ourselves fighting and dying, and trying to fight for something. Like we got a little bit in the first Black Panther, but nothing much since then. And this is a Black woman and a Black male coming together, and even with Aneka and Ayo in Wakanda Forever, like we got to see something towards the end, which is just a peck on the head, and then that was about it. But there just wasn't enough room for that, so I think that Disney needs to be more careful of that going forward.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I've seen anyone approach a Black woman is Bucky trying to go for Sam's sister in Captain Falcon. So yeah.
That was fun. Yeah. I might have to rewatch one or two of those series going forward.
Captain Falcon's worth rewatching. Just don't watch that last episode again. You can leave that off.
Yeah, the last episode was a bit the speech and everything. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. The suit, bro. The suit.
Yeah.
He looked a little Quasimodo-ish in it, but it's okay.
I gotta go back and look at the suit. I don't think I wasn't bothered initially by it, but I'll definitely go back and see.
Yeah, check out that suit. Yeah. They'll have it better for the net when he comes back, but bruh.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, this is December, man. Holidays are coming up. Kwanzaa's coming up, and we're in the past we've done things with local Kwanzaa committees to bring Afrofuturism to Kwanzaa, or bring Kwanzaa to Afrofuturism, especially when it comes to youth looking at Black culture, Black American culture, and seeing how that can influence their artistic creativity and abilities. So 7 principles, we last year and the year before, we took the 7 principles, and for each month in between Kwanzaa and Juneteenth, each month was a different principle of the Nguzo Saba. So we would do unity, self-determination, collective economics, so on and so forth, and each month would represent that. And then we would give out a certificate to a person in our community who we felt embodied each principle. So that was a way that we started to expand beyond just the week of Kwanzaa itself and kind of keep the conversation going throughout the year. Because, after Kwanzaa, kids aren't going to hear about it at school, and for the most part, not at home, unless you're like one of the Kwanzaa kids whose parents are always going to
the not one of the Kwanzaa kids.
Yo. Shout out to my man Parrish for coining that term, because he was just like, I was friends with all the Kwanzaa kids, and these are the kids who always had to go for the drumming or had to sing, like their parents made them go do stuff at Kwanzaa, and so but yeah, it seems like we take more ownership of holidays like 4th of July and Memorial Day, but there's not enough attention around like Kwanzaa. Like people are gonna show up for fireworks, people are gonna show up for Christmas, people are gonna show up for Halloween parties and whatnot. But if somebody throws a Kwanzaa party, now all of a sudden, we can't fill a room up. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I think that's fair, because I mean, me growing up in Chicago, I knew what Kwanzaa was from like some of the shows and movies I watched, but I didn't know anyone that celebrated it. I know that there are the 7 principles, but I don't know what they are. I mean, it's something definitely I'm interested in learning more of, because I mean, it's just never been in the accessible, like the knowledge of it. Like no one knows, because no one is there to talk about it.
Let me see if I can just recall them real quick. Let me see. Okay, so Ujima. Wait, no, dang, I already messed up. No, yeah, Ujima, unity, Kujichagulia, self-determination, Ujama, forgot what that one was. Umoja is unity. Ujima is something else. All right, cool. All right, here I go. So I'm at what? 4? I got 3 left. Ujama, Nia, that's creativity. No, Nia is purpose. What's creativity? Drawing a blank. I know Imani is faith. That's like the last one. And what
Yeah.
is creativity?
So
Dang, it's like my favorite one. I
I
forgot.
I got Umoja is unity.
Unity, yeah.
Kuji
Kujichagulia,
Kujichagulia self-determination.
yeah.
Ujima collective work and responsibility. I like that one. I like
Oh,
that one a lot.
Kuumba, that's creativity. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sorry.
Ujama is cooperative economics. I
Yeah.
like that one as well. Nia is purpose.
Hmm.
Kumba is creativity, and Imani is faith.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just listening to what they mean. I mean, it's definitely something I'm really interested in learning though, because I don't know how Kwanzaa was started. I don't know
Hmm.
where it was started,
Yeah.
but like all the principles of Christmas were drilled into my brain in history class. So I mean,
Right.
I do think that's a failure culturally. But we're not gonna talk about all the cultural failures in America on this podcast today.
Not
Um,
all. We can dip into a few of them,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, acknowledging that, yeah, there are barriers. Like somebody probably had a really great Kwanzaa movie idea that was shut down because whoever the producers were thought that it's not going to sell enough, it's not going to do well, it's too much of a niche demographic, and they're full of shit. All right, like people will go see a Kwanzaa movie, and again, that's something that Black Panther proved wrong. Like people will come out to see this. We ain't got to be able to pronounce the main character's last name, first name, whatever. We just want to go see a dope movie that has people who look like us doing dope things. Like that's what it boils down to. So, people who out there who have a Kwanzaa idea, Kwanzaa kids show, like keep trying to pitch those things to these companies. I know it feels like it's working uphill for the most part, but they're starting to be a little more opening up with
Mhm.
the ability of it. You know what I'm saying?
My philosophy, honestly, at this point, is skip these companies, just find ways to make it yourself. Because I
Boom,
mean,
straight up.
when it's out there and they see it's successful, that's when they're gonna try to buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah, and then they're gonna raise the
prove
price,
them wrong,
your price. They're gonna try to raise your price.
right?
They ain't gonna try to price you. They're gonna try to
Uh,
match whatever price
um,
you got.
yeah, not saying that you shouldn't pitch to the other companies too. I mean, if you pitch to them and they ignore it, and then they hit you up later, just let them know, yeah, the yesterday's price is not today's price. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, give me that money
Mm-hmm.
if you wanna have access to this. So
Mm-hmm.
hey, get it if you get it done ahead of time. You have all the licensing and your trademarking rights, so they can't steal it from you. They're gonna have to come to you. So hey, get on it if you want
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, but a Buffalo Kwanzaa, just like a Buffalo Juneteenth. As much flack as we get for having insane snowy weather and a once terrible football team, we do Kwanzaa and Juneteenth right up here. Like we have one of the largest Juneteenth in existence, um, and I don't think we got enough credit for that nationwide. But we ain't got to really go into that detail. But the way that we do things up here, because we're so close in proximity to one another, whenever we celebrate, we try to do our best to uplift the community. So, Kwanzaa, it usually opens up with a prayer to the ancestors. People are calling out names. There's a woman at the front, usually a male or a woman, but typically a woman opens up the ceremony, pouring the libation, explaining what the libation is. Just having that engagement, and then we're lighting the candle up. Usually, there's events for every day, whether it's musical performances, poetry, spoken word, artistic crafting for the kids. So it's really just 7 days of just Black people celebrating. Especially a lot of the hoteps. Shout out to my hoteps out there, um, the ones who don't call women women with a B.
With
um,
the B,
yeah, with a B. Yeah, you ever see a what? Yeah. Some people will spell it like WOMBMAN. Just leave out all the women who can't, who don't have
wow.
full function. But
Okay.
all my brothers who identify women as females.
Mm.
Yeah, I was just looking at some kente hat memes.
Yeah, oh yeah. The dark skin incels. There you go.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Those people don't seem to ruin the fun for everybody. Like again, the Kwanzaa celebration here is really nice. I've hosted a few times and emceed a few events. So, um, yeah, I think it's gonna be really good, especially like after coming off pandemic time.
Mm.
Really encouraging people to go and celebrate, whether you're in Buffalo or not. Like, find out where the people celebrating Kwanzaa are, and go vibe with them. You know, you don't have to commit to anything. You don't have to give anybody a present. You don't have to do a donation. I mean, you know, donate to people who are putting it on, but you know, just go for the vibes. You know, there's a bunch of books there. People wear different types of African garbs depending on what day it is, and yeah, it's just a really good vibe. So I'm really excited for this year because again, we're coming out of COVID. I'm personally coming off a great year with Galactic Tribe, Lelouch as well, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to it this year.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it because I mean I'm essentially missing Christmas this year because my family is back in Chicago and I'm not gonna be able to make the trip this year. So hey,
Okay.
I'll fill up those days or something.
Yeah, I mean, you got family here, fam. You know what I'm saying? It's a tribe vibe. We got you, bro. Yeah, I'll be here for Christmas and New Year's. I'm not going anywhere. Hopefully, the weather acts right and doesn't doesn't get in the way. And normally, I mean, you know, I don't think it's been a time where like a Christmas or New Year's was canceled because of the weather. Like it always seems to be like a
Right
few weeks
after.
before or after that the snow like really hits us and then we're all like jacked up. But um, I mean, but even if it snows, like you know, Buffalo, we gonna find a way to party. Don't
Mhm.
stop us from going to our bars. Don't stop us from going seeing our football. Like we always find a
Yeah,
way
oh
to
dear,
party.
don't football game, please, not out here.
Yeah, I think the Bills play on Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. That's gonna be a game. Yeah,
Mm.
fam. But yeah, black celebrations all around. Um, and yeah, let us know how y'all do black celebrations, whatever city you're from. If you want to do something with the Buffalo Kwanzaa, feel free to let us know. We can bring in virtual guests. If you're in the Rochester area, reach out. You know, let's coordinate something, whether it's with the Galactic Tribe or with the Buffalo Kwanzaa Committee. Give them a holler. They're all great people. Um, and yeah, also just like having those conversations between Afrocentrism and Afrofuturism, and just kind of just kind of organizing it a bit because there's as much as there's Afrofuturism, there's also African futurism, which is in its own category, its own lane, and has its own set of invisible rules as to what African futurism is and what African futurism isn't. The same way with Pan Africanism and all those other isms that exist within our diaspora of philosophical self-identification and storytelling. Um, there's a lot there to explore and to have conversations on. Like I feel like Kwanzaa could be more of a convention type of thing where there's 7 days of convention aspects to it. Um, but as long as people feel comfortable, feel safe, feel restored, feel loved by the community, that's what it comes down to. Like take away
Mhm.
all the bells and whistles. If you can come to a community event and feel seen and feel welcomed and feel embraced by the people who are your neighbors, then that's what Kwanzaa is all about. We've had a lot of violence this year. I mean, every year we have a plethora of things that hold us back or hurt us or damage us or leave our community feeling uh, weaker than it is or feeling not up to par. And to me, Kwanzaa and Juneteenth are like those restorational periods because they both come at um, a certain time on the 12-month calendar to where after 6 months, boom, you got this black event where people are smiling, dancing, cheering, and just restoring our mana. You know what I'm saying? Restoring our vitality with a community effort. Um, so that means something to me, especially here, just me talking about it and rambling like I've been doing. But that's just how special it is. My first Kwanzaa, I celebrated with one of my aunts, and she's like the coolest auntie ever. Like she had the locks, you know what I'm saying? Was probably one of the first women that I in my mind like, oh wait, she has locks and has a bunch of African art around her house. She had a beautiful black cat that was all around. Um, and we celebrated our first Kwanzaa. She gave me a book. I can't remember if it might have been Sun Tzu Art of War, or it might have been like
Oh, that's a great book.
yeah, yeah. I think she gave me that when I was a little bit older, but when I was younger, it was some other book. Um, but yeah, and I've gone back to celebrate with her a few times since then. She's got plants all around the house, and when I told her about I was doing Wakanda line, she got super excited because she's like, "Oh, Afrofuturism, that's the same." I listen to Sun Ra all the time. She's watched various films that feature blackness in the future and all of that. So she was more than excited that that I had taken a step into Afrofuturism and kind of defining it for myself and defining it for our community. So, um, so Kwanzaa is very close to my heart for a number of reasons.
Right. I mean, going into the new year, my big mantra for 2023 is just learning how to, you know, increase my level of business acumen. Learning how to build my network bigger, learning how to connect with people better, learning how to
Mm-hmm.
communicate better. So I mean, if this is a community thing, it just sounds like right up the alley for that. So I'm with it.
Yeah, word. All right. Well, hey, y'all, we'll keep y'all posted. Um, a lot of great things coming. We're gonna close out the year strong, close out the year black AF, and really just enjoy each other's company. So thank you all for listening to the Galactic Tribe podcast. Watching it if you're on YouTube. Please continue to support us by going to thegalactictribe.org, and you can donate or purchase a new shirt if you so please, or if you just want to start a conversation, hit us up in the DMs and we'll get something going.
And check us out in the Blerd Group Entertainment Facebook group too. We'll be putting these in there soon. Add some more connectivity to it. We'll get there. Tune in for us next week. We'll be back.
All right. And with that, we say stay future forward. Peace.